another guy who's taping. We're going to do that, so you don't need me up here, do you? You just got to get right to him. One of my favorite comics from Kansas City, Teague Hayes, everybody. Teague Hayes.
Hello. Give it up for Clint Warren, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Stand-up comedy 2020. This is the year. It's all going to happen. I got on my vision board. You believe in vision boards? Yeah? Sure, I'm a sucker. Hello. I put on my vision board, I put Carnegie Hall. And my goal was to play Carnegie Hall by December, but I didn't realize how far in advance they booked that place. One step at a time, I figure why not start my journey off right in the utility closet of an Indian restaurant. Right to the top! Yeah, 2020, I'm just gonna get into it. Truck nuts. Fake balls on your truck. Right. Yeah, so I know what you're thinking. It's 2020, are we still doing truck nut jokes? Not really. Mine is more doing truck nuts jokes again. Because over a decade ago, I wrote a little chunk of comedy about truck nuts. And the premise back then was like, geez, they've sure been around a lot longer than I thought they would be in 2008 or 9. And then I started noticing in pop culture, a lot of people making jokes about truck nuts. See it on TV, you see it in the movies, and I thought, I don't want my comedy to be redundant. So I phased out my truck nut jokes. And then the years went on. And truck nut jokes kind of dropped off the radar in pop culture. But the truck nuts themselves haven't gone anywhere. Right now, there's a country and western bar down the street. There's probably a couple hundred pick-em-up trucks down there. And I think we would only need about 100 to get at least one set of truck nuts. And I know what you're thinking, well, 1%, that's not that many. But it's too much, I think. It's not, maybe not many, but it's still too much. I really don't get it, man. Are we ever going to evolve as a species and move? It's been 20 years of truck nuts. Can we all just admit we had a good laugh and it's over? Like, how is this ever legal to begin with? You ever get caught behind one of these jerks? Right, they're doing like a 3-point parallel park, trying to get you to start swinging. I got my daughter in the car. I'm like, no, honey, that truck can't make baby trucks with mommy trucks. Not gonna have that conversation ahead of schedule. I just don't get it. Like, you can't walk around with the real balls hanging out. Fake balls, no problem. I get it, like a dog or a bull, sure, but like, okay, what about this? What if, flip the script, instead of nuts on the back of my pick-em-up truck, how about instead on the hood of my Ford Festiva? Suction cup dildo. What do you think of that? Why not? Why not? You got the nuts on your truck, I got a dildo on my economy sedan. I'm scooting around town, it's like beep beep coming through. Oh, red light, bing, bang, bang. I'm pretty sure you'd get pulled over. Cop comes up to your car, hey man, can't be driving around on the hood of your car, you got a tallywhacker. I'm like, well, what about the balls in the back? He's like, no, those are looking good. Sure, easy for me to say. Easy for me to say as an overprivileged, middle-aged, cisgender, heterosexual, white, Caucasian male from the suburbs with a Judeo-Christian background. Did I get them all? I'll tell you what's not easy for me to say. Overprivileged, heterosexual. Does the order matter? Is it like a molecule? If I get them backwards, it's all cisgendered. I've got 2 sisters, neither of whom have a gender. You know what I mean? privilege is a tricky word. Like when I write it out, when I'm typing privilege, I almost always mess it up. It's like restaurant, I forget where, like, is there a D in there? Like ledge, privilege? So not only do I have to check my privilege, I also, are you already there yet? Do I actually have to say it? I gotta spell check my privilege. Hey, hey, stick around, we got a great show. I think I just made a Johnny Carson reference, if I'm not mistaken. Next Monday's my birthday. You're all invited to the party. I turn 85, so come on by. You look great. Yeah, man. So yeah, I guess I've been up here for a while. I should introduce myself. Hello, my name is Teague. Teague is my name. It's not a very unusual last name, but it's a very infrequently occurring first name. Teague. T-E-A-G-U-E. Like league with a T, where the L would be. Is what I've told people countless times throughout my life. And I get to wondering sometimes, how much of my life have I spent just explaining my name? Like aggregate, total, cumulative time. You know, like you spend so much time of your life at a red light or on the toilet. How much of my life, just so far, have I spent being, hey, my name's Teague. Keith? No. Let's try this again. My name's Teague. Steve? Teague. Teague. Oh, Teague. It's like, no, it's not Teague. Can I just get my damn sandwich? What's your name? Shanae. What are you? Justin. You ever have to do, when you tell people your name's Justin, have you ever had to explain what it means and where it came from? Your name's Justin, wow, where are you from? Because I get that shit. My name's Teague. What faraway land? They got a thing now called name othering. A lot of people have, the name landscape has changed, but trust me, as a white suburbanite in 1980, if your name wasn't Justin or Matthew or Jennifer, you may as well be named Chanae. Name othering, you're not supposed to, you know, like making fun of people's names. Name exoticizing, don't exoticize the name. Where were those people when I was a kid? Exoticize a name. My name's Teague. Oh, are you even from this planet? Oh, are you gonna phone home? Are you E.T.? Oh, Elliot, E.T. It was a long time ago, I'm old. E.T. Every day before school, I'm like, all right, Mom, Dad, see you guys later, gotta go catch the bus. You could have named me Brian or David or anything, really. But I gotta go get ripped on at school just because my name's different. There was nothing else interesting about me. I wasn't particularly stupid or fat or had a weird foot. Hey, I'm not saying, I'm glad that I just had a weird name and not a weird foot, you know what I mean? You wanna hear the bitch of it? The dude in my school who did have a weird foot, his name was Ichabod. I'm like, damn, double win. And don't forget, he was in my class, right? So back in 1981 or whatever, the Disney rendition of Sleepy Hollow had just come out, and the dude had a cane, because his foot, Ichabod caned this poor kid. I know. Could have been anywhere in time. I won't even tell you about 1983, man. Everybody thinks they're so funny. Like when I was a kid, you used to have to ask permission to use the phone when you were a kid. Now everyone's got a phone, but when I was 6 years old, I'd have to go find an adult in the kitchen. Man, can I use your phone? I'm like, oh, Teague's gonna use the phone. Every once in a while, you run into one of those funny dads. Who are you gonna call, Teague? I'm like, don't do it, man. Who you calling? I'm like, you know, I'm calling my mommy so she can come pick me up. You're gonna phone home? Don't! I already did that joke. I got a lot of, Mr. Teague. I bet you pity fools, huh, Mr. Teague? And then, in the 90s, a movie came out, a little baseball picture starring Tom Hanks. Yeah. A League of Their Own. July 1st, 1992. It was a Friday. Came out the same weekend as Boomerang, starring Eddie Murphy. I remember when I saw the preview a couple months before the movie came out. I just remember thinking, son of a bitch. I could see it coming. A league of their own. 30 years of every fifth person I meet. My name's Teague. A Teague of our own! Oh, have you ever thought about pursuing comedy? I have a sneaky suspicion that you have. All right, maybe not that last one. Bullying, yeah. I got bullied. Who didn't, I guess? Everyone's got their own story. Mine's weird because in 7th grade, I got bullied to the point, it wasn't severe. You know, it was just the sheer volume. Like, it became trendy in my junior high to just rip on. I'm getting it from, like, teachers and shit. So one day there was a new kid, didn't know anybody. Comes up to me and he's like, hey, man, I hear you're the dude to rip on around here. I'm like, yeah? He's like, is it cool if at lunch I kind of go on you pretty hard? I'm just trying to fit in, make some friends. I'm like, well, whatever I can do to help, I guess. Preppies and jocks, everyone gets bullied by them. I had nerd bullies. Nerds! Poking me with their compasses. I'm like, hey. Calling me out in the hallway. Hey, this loser doesn't even know the Pythagorean theorem. Like, I'm not even in that grade yet. I'm not even supposed to know that. I had a hippie bully. You ever have your ass beat by a dude wearing a Beatles t-shirt? Doesn't even make sense. All you need is love. I'm like, I'm starting to question your level of fan, sir. I'm no Beatlemaniac, but I'm sure John, Paul, George, and Ringo weren't talking about beating ass. I should have known this guy might have been a little sketchy when it came to his Beatle fandom. Because I tried, when I was getting bullied, sometimes I use humor to diffuse the situation. And he's coming at me, he's like, I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm like, yeah, maybe with a little help from your friends. He's like, what? I'm like, what? He's like, I'm coming, man. I'm like, hey, let it be. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, why are you wearing that shirt? All right. Oh, boy. All right, enough about the old days. It's 2020. What's going on? We got the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. Should have written a couple jokes about that, huh? What else is going on in the headlines? Any big news lately? Yeah, I know. This isn't the place for that. I'll do that shit when I'm at Carnegie Hall while I'm in the utility closet. I know, maybe just don't talk about certain... Should I have opened my act perhaps with a Pledge of Allegiance? Do I need to proclaim my fealty? And you know what? You guys win. I just want to tell my dick jokes. That's all I want out of life. Speaking of, I recently got on Tinder. A little late to the game on that one. Just trying to find someone to date from 2009. Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I got on Tinder and I was new to it, and I fell for the oldest trick in the book. I'll tell you, if she wasn't the oldest trick, she must have been in the top 10. You know what I think? I'm like, yo, mama, your profile said you were 42. She's like, I was for a whole year. I'm like, all right, well, if we're going dancing, I don't know how this walker and oxygen tank thing's gonna work. We gotta maybe pick one, but it looks like you need them both. She's like, back in the 70s, I had sex with Elvis Presley. I'm like, lady, I'm not even sure I know your real name. She's like, you know who didn't know my real name? Elvis fucking Presley. I was like, man, I think I'm falling in love with this broad. Broad. I don't talk like that. Falling in love with this broad. I will say, though, that I had a dream the other day that I woke up in bed with Frank Sinatra. Yeah, I woke up in bed with Frank Sinatra and a couple of dames. Helen Mirren and Judi Dench. You know? Dame Helen Mirren and Dame Judy. So far I've made a Johnny Carson reference, Elvis Presley, and Frank Sinatra. So once again, I'd like to invite everyone to my birthday party on Monday, where I'll be turning way older. What are my references about? I'm not even that old. 86. I did kind of fall for a different oldest trick in the book, comedy speaking. Last weekend, I did a gig for a guy. It was like, I've worked with him before, he's never screwed me over. I should have known what was up, you know, like, it didn't offer much, it wasn't a big paying gig, but they were gonna put me up in a Marriott. And man, I know it looks pretty glamorous when I do my comedy in the same room where I think they wash the pots and pans in the back. So the Marriott's a big deal to me, you know what I mean? Like sometimes I get offered these shows, hey, can you do this gig? I'm like, well, does it come with a room? And they'll be like, I guess my mom can sleep on the floor. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I should have known better. I should have been like, hey, if you're putting me up at the Marriott, why you paying me dog shit? But I wasn't thinking straight. I was already swept away by the fantasy of it all. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get like the big fuzzy robe, get my nails done by a window. You know what I mean? Like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. I'm never gonna be anything more than the gerbil up Richard Gere's asshole. Yeah! Chalk it up to yet another reference of what the hell is this guy talking about? Of course you get it, sir. Oh, you're walking a little funny coming in here. So anyway, I show up to the Marriott, and of course, who's there? Mr. Producer himself, Mr. Finger Guns. He's like, hey man, things didn't work out at the Marriott, but don't sweat it. We got you set up over here at the Rob Zombie Travel Lodge and Haunted House. Holy shit. Reminder, this is good travel advice for anyone. If you can, bring extra sheets. It's never a bad idea. I called down to the front desk at like 2 in the morning. I'm like, hello? And he's like, greetings. I would like to play a game. They got Jigsaw working the phones. Jigsaw. From the movies. Did you see Saw? Did you see Saw? Maybe you didn't see Saw. It might be a regional thing. Maybe you didn't see Saw, but did you teeter-totter? Did you teeter-totter? Did you teach your daughter how to teeter-totter? What the fuck? What am I talking about? We're having some fun. Yeah, I like a good teeter-tottering. Or seesaw. I don't want to start a riot. I know everyone's a little edgy. Call it whatever you want. I don't want to lose any teeth over your jungle gym playground names. That's the thing too, is like, as far as being an overprivileged, cisgendered guy, whatever I am, there's some things I kind of can't do anymore. And one of them is just go enjoy a nice little playground once in a while. I can't just stroll up, hey, what's up? I just like to swing. I want to get my swing on. What's up? Calling up my sister like every weekend. Hey, I just want to hang out with little Timmy again. She's like, boy, you're a great uncle. I'm like, yeah, well, wait till he turns 12. I'm not gonna. I just bring him set up. I'm like, there, it's like a security badge. I'm just like, hey, like, kid out. I'm fine. I'm with them. Oh my God. You guys get that figured out? Nice, come on. There's like 8 people in here. I hear everything you're saying, just so you know. This guy's like, oh shit. I've been talking mad trash on this guy. Yeah, I had an interesting one. Speaking of my nephew, he had a birthday at a Chuck E. Cheese, and I know, what a nightmare. You ever been to one of those places? Like as an adult? It's like a casino for kids. It's loud and cacophony. It's like, bing, 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 bing. There's lights everywhere. I got one guy, he's like, yay, over here. I was, no, over there. People are peeing their pants, it's mayhem. I was supposed to meet my sister at her house, and then as a group, we were gonna go to Chuck E. Cheese. But I'm always late. We don't have time for me to get into that. Anyway, so I had to instead meet them at the Chuck E. Cheese. Right? I don't know if you've ever tried to be like a middle-aged dude with no children in sight and then just casually stroll into a Chuck E. Cheese. Hey, how's everybody doing? Raise a few eyebrows. I'm here for the birthday party. They're like, that's all we do here. There's always a birthday party. See, that's the oldest trick in the book, you creep, ain't it? I didn't even go in. I pulled into the parking lot. I panicked. I called my sister. I'm like, hey, you gotta come get me. I'm not. Just grab a kid and come. We're coming right back. It doesn't have to be your kid. Just come get me. That place is a nightmare, man. Even the pizza's terrible. Chuck E. Cheese pizza has got to be the worst pizza on the face of the planet. I don't even know how you get pizza that wrong. How do you get that far off on pizza? It's bread with stuff on it. They have a picture of a pizza on the building, kind of indicating maybe they know what they're doing with pizza. Meanwhile, the pizza's being held up by a rat. That's a good look, huh? Ooh, did you get extra sausage on the pizza? I don't remember ordering extra sausage. Yeah, it's a poop joke. It's a thinking man's poop joke right there. Taking the high road to Poop Town. I thought about it though. I was like, oh man, what if I just loved the pizza at Chuck E. Cheese? Like I just couldn't get enough. I'd be screwed. They don't deliver. To walk up to a Chuck E. Cheese like, hey, I'm just here for the pizza? They're like, nobody's here for the pizza. We make the pizza bad on purpose to keep creeps like, aren't you the guy from the birthday party? Get out of here! I don't know, I'm at an age now where like, I as a comedian, I interact with a lot of younger people, and people are judgmental, period, but I'm not young anymore, so it kind of seems like ageism and shit, right? But like, so a lot of times, you know, they're younger, and I don't know what they're talking about half the time, and I was at some mic show, and a bunch of the comedians were talking about Billie Eilish. Do you know who Billie Eilish is? Do you? Yes. Do you know? I didn't know. If you don't know who Billie Eilish is, she's like the new Madonna, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, take your pick. The new pop thing, right? And you will find out. You will find out who she is. Because, okay, I'll tell you. So they're all talking about, are we all up to speed yet? Come on, people. I just gave you a clue. You don't have to know who it is. She's a big pop star. Think of Michael Jackson. Okay, don't. Yeah. All right, anyway. I'm gonna get back to my story. All right, pipe down. I've got like 5 more minutes. Just calm down. So yeah, so they're all talking about this lady, Billie Eilish. I don't know who it is, so I say, Billie Eilish, who's that guy? Well, right off the bat, oh, Teague, you out of touch old man. How do you not know? One of the girls actually, she came off like that. How do you not know? How do you not know who Billie Eilish is? Quick recap, I'm an overprivileged, middle-aged, I'm not the demo. I'm not even supposed to know who that is to a certain degree. And here's the thing, I'm a big James Bond fan. I like James Bond, the movie franchise. She's doing the new song. So I would have learned who Billie Eilish was anyway. This chick's saying, oh, how do you not know? Meanwhile, I think Billie Eilish is only going to be doing the James Bond song until she finds out the toxic levels of the legacy of James Bond. Because one of the things, I don't know how much you know about Billie Eilish, she was on a TV show and they were like, hey, do you know who Van Halen is? And she's like, no. And everyone's like, how do you not know? How do you not know? Some people don't know who Van Halen is. She probably doesn't know who James Bond is, but she's about to find out. Ding, 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 ding. All right, I'm just gonna do all of the movies real quick, one-man show. So anyway, I felt embarrassed. So I went home and I researched the Billie Eilish. I learned a few things. I listened to her music. I like her music. I listened to some of her interviews. I like her music. And wait for it, boom. So the next week, I'm at the same place. A lot of the same youngsters talking. And who comes up in conversation again but Billie Eilish. I'm ready for my close-up now, you know what I mean? Like, I've been studying up. I got a PhD in this bitch at this point. Just waiting for my moment to show off. And so, the conversation, they're talking about Billie Eilish, it gets to the point where they're talking about the sexualization of Billie Eilish. And that lady who called me out for not knowing enough about Billie Eilish, she says, oh, well, that's disgusting. You shouldn't sexualize Billie Eilish, she's a child. And you don't sexualize children. And I was like, actually, just a few weeks ago, Billie Eilish turned 18. Conversation stops and everyone just looks at me. Because apparently now, I know a little too much about Billie Eilish. I went from the out-of-touch grandpa to the creepy old perv. And then it becomes like, how do you know that? Why do you know that? It's like, there's no pleasing these people. Ugh. Some people just get... I got a buddy of mine, he sounds like Matthew McConaughey. He's kind of, Steve did a little bit, he's got that kind of kind of thing going on. And he told me one time, he's like, you know, people say, I have a mind of a Matthew McConaughey. I don't do the voice as well. So I say to him, I'm like, oh, I could hear that. He's like, oh, you can see it too? Didn't say I could see it, pal. I said I could hear it. And then he gets all poopy pants, as if to say, not being as good looking as Matthew McConaughey is somehow an insult. I hate to be that guy, but I'm looking around the room. We should all be a little insulted. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a good-looking dude. Matt McConaughey, that's a gorgeous man. He's been like a professional handsome dude for like, even in 2020. Even in 2020, sometimes guys get a little uncomfortable when you start talking about how good-looking a dude is. I went to meet a friend of mine at a restaurant. I'm really almost done. I went to meet a friend of mine in a restaurant. Just 45 more minutes and I'm out. But, just a real quick. I go to meet my buddy, and I'm running late. My phone's dead, so I go up to the host stand, but there's nobody there. So then I go to the bartender, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm here meeting a friend of mine. Maybe you've seen him. He's a little bit taller than me. He's wearing a Chicago Bears hat, and he's a really good-looking guy." All of a sudden, the bartender's like, "Whoa! I don't know if he's good looking, you know? I'm not gay." Are we still doing that shit? You can tell it, not to mention, he's in the service industry with this attitude. But anyway, so like, come on, man. You can't tell if a dude's good looking because you're no homo. Expect me to believe if I showed this guy a picture of Ryan Gosling. And then I held up a picture of Steve Buscemi. This guy behind the bar is just gonna be like, I don't know. I can't tell the difference. I don't know. I don't know which one of those guys was in the Notebook. How do you know so much about the Notebook, one might ask? I'm not perfect. I'm not judging anybody. I made mistakes. I have a friend of mine, he's gay, and he's just incredibly ugly. It's all right, it happens. Hey, some people get Ryan Gosling, other people get Steve Buscemi, you know? But he is, yeah. And I felt bad. One time we were walking down the street, and our hands kind of brushed up against one another, kind of lingered for a second. So I pulled my hand away real quick, like, nah! And he stops, and he looks at me, really disappointed. He says, you know, Teague, I would expect that from some people, but not you, man. I thought you were cool. What's the matter? Are you embarrassed? Do you think these people might think that you're gay? I'm like, I don't care if these people think I'm gay. I just don't want them to think I'm with your ugly ass. You know what I mean? I got standards, people. Hey, thank you guys so much. I'm Teague. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Teague, everybody, Teague. I rarely get to pull the mic up when I come on stage. So notice how slowly I did it so everybody can see it. I'm pulling it up. I'm tall. Okay, Thursday through Saturday, we have nationally touring comics here Thursday through Saturday. Next week, they'll actually be on the website. Okay, so.